Hello, everybody. If you're just joining us, we're just going to give one more minute to be sure that everybody's able to get to us and connect audio and so forth. All right, it looks like we're pretty close. Let's go ahead and get started. So hello, everybody. I am Marcella Marlowe. I'm the city manager for the city of San Marino, just in case you didn't know that. Happy to be here. We have these town hall meetings once a month on the first Monday of the month, other than holidays. And we try to bring to you some important item about what's going on in the community that we think might be of interest to you. So delighted that tonight's topic is economic development, which will be led by our fabulous community development director, Aldo Cervantes, and also our fabulous management analyst in that department, Stephanie Britt. They've got a PowerPoint for you and we'll answer some questions. We do have a Public Safety Commission meeting that'll be a little bit later tonight at 7 o'clock. So if you are feeling like you want to get into some down and dirty city stuff tonight and hang out with us for this town hall meeting and then join us again a little bit later at 7 o'clock. You can find all the login information on our website, and please go ahead and be our guest for that as well. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Director Cervantes, and I'm going to go ahead and just mute anybody that isn't speaking just so we don't have background noise, and take it away, sir.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aldo Cervantes. I'm the Community Development Director. My team is Stephanie Britt, who's our management analyst, who's been helping me for the last couple of years in this economic development program. Of course, we have a great economic development committee as well, and we have a few faces of that group on this call, Shelley Boyle, and of course, our Vice Mayor, Susan Jakubowski. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to welcome you to this town hall meeting. It is a topic about our next steps, which is Huntington Drive, and looking at a streetscape type program for the streets. And so we're going to be leading you down a PowerPoint presentation led by Stephanie that goes over a couple of key elements of what we're looking for to help receive feedback from the group tonight, as well as ongoing in our preparation of our requests for proposals from designers who will assist us in preparing this streetscape, or what we call a beautification type program. So Stephanie, if you want to go ahead and open up your PowerPoint and share it with the audience, and go ahead and get going.
Thank you, Aldo. I'm sharing my screen right now. Does everything look okay?
Yep, we see it. There you go.
Well, okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are very excited to share the next step in our economic development program. One moment. There we go. One of our general strategic approaches will be to focus on the pillars of our program. The first step will be infrastructure improvements along Huntington Drive. Next, we will focus on effective urban design in order to promote placemaking and make the street more walkable. But our main goal is supporting local businesses and making sure that they thrive and serve the community well. Finally, we're going to enhance landscaping to provide more shade and make it as green and comfortable for pedestrians to enjoy the street. So Huntington Drive, as you may know, is looking a little drab. It doesn't have sufficient shade. It doesn't have sufficient business vitality. So our goals are to help improve its vitality by creating an environment where people want to walk around and hang out. We can do this by providing more shade, benches, trash cans, more opportunities for people to comfortably enjoy the street. We also want to learn upon the lessons from COVID-19. We want to prioritize outdoor seating, dining, and more opportunities to take advantage of the public spaces that we have outside of businesses as gathering places for the whole community. So some of our ideas that we've been discussing are investing in more sidewalk trees. These will provide the shade for pedestrians, some pots, greenery, some light fixtures, banner signs. All of these things will create a cohesive image for all of Huntington Drive and for people to enjoy. This will make it more welcoming and more families can come and enjoy Huntington Drive. Another aspect of it will be district monuments, where we can have a sense of place and knowing that you've arrived somewhere. You know that you're in Huntington Drive and that you're in a special place. And we're also considering possibly bulb outs, which will make crossing the streets a little more comfortable. As you know, Huntington Drive is a little difficult to cross as it's a very long boulevard. So suggesting some ways to make it safer for pedestrians to cross these streets.
And Stephanie, before you get off that topic, I want to indicate the difference between your common infrastructure type projects. And most of the common type infrastructure type projects are those that you see in terms of concrete work. You see the curb and gutters, you see the bulb outs, you see the sidewalk work. Those are and of course you see the street work in terms of paving or resurfacing the streets. Those are the most common infrastructure type projects. We're thinking about those as well, but we're also thinking them in the form of beautification. So keep that in mind.
And for beautification, we focus on like tree up lighting, which will create an ambience at night, benches that will make it a little more comfortable to sit on as you're walking down the boulevard. This leads me very comfortably towards our urban design goals for this program. Our goal is to attract more families, children, and make it more family friendly for more social gathering. So as we beautify the street, we want to increase some of the streetscape aspects. So this includes all of the trees, benches, parklets, outdoor seating opportunities. And for the nighttime ambience, we can do some lighting improvements to make it more welcoming. String lighting and up lighting for the trees will be very beneficial for that. Now, as we plant more trees, we have to consider some of the infrastructure elements, provide a rooting system for the trees to be able to grow without lifting the sidewalks. More sidewalk trees also means more places to put the benches in and to rest whilst you walk down the street. Some other design elements could be some very welcoming street lights, such as the ones pictured here. Some banner signs, as you can see on the right side, which will create a sense of place for the street. This is what the up lighting for the trees could look like. And it will create a more welcoming ambience in the nighttime, so it doesn't look quite as dark. These are some examples of benches that we could install throughout the street and to allow people to rest and gather as they're going shopping. Now, our main goal now is to ask the community what you think. What are your project recommendations? What would you like to see on Huntington Drive? What would you like to prioritize? Our goal is to have the community as involved as possible and to give us all of the feedback you can provide so we can serve you the best possible. Thank you very much.
And one of the things that I'll add before we conclude and look for feedback and comments, we took a different approach with Mission Street, and a lot of the images that you see on this PowerPoint are a reflection of the Mission Street projects. But we wanted to very much take this opportunity early on in this program with Huntington Drive, because it's a very more, I would call it a more complex type of programming, because Huntington Drive is a very wide street. It doesn't have the same pedestrian feel as Mission Street does. And so given the challenges that we face on Huntington Drive, we wanted to take a different approach, which is an early on outreach program to ask the residents, business owners, as to what you want to see on Huntington Drive. And mind you, we're not looking at cost right now. What we want to do is we want to develop a program that aims towards creating a menu of items, a menu of projects per se, that allow for us and the city council to consider them down the future, as well as for the staff to consider them when looking at budgeting for these projects. And so this is an opportunity for the community to provide us with feedback and comments about how to really manage Huntington Drive from a pedestrian perspective, from a business inviting perspective. What makes everyone feel safe is that lighting. And so the images that we provided to you tonight are sort of helpful in terms of thinking about ideas of what you want to see on the street. And so now what I like to do is open the floor for the community members to provide us with comments as to how we're going to approach the program for Huntington Drive. And so the way you do that for tonight's meeting from a technical perspective is you can raise your hand using the raise hand feature that's accommodated by Zoom, or if you share your screen and physically raise your hand, we can call you in that manner. And so I see that Susie has raised her hand as a first, and so I will call on her to provide us with the first comments regarding this program. Go ahead, Susie.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good.
Hi, thank you. Interesting planning. One of the things that I've long mentioned and hoped for along Huntington Drive would be some public transportation.
Okay.
A simple trolley, tram, red car, something that would go from San Gabriel Boulevard down the drive all the way to Atlantic Boulevard. Kids could get on it, hop on and off, get to school. You know, it'd be easy for older folks like me to hop on and go down to a local restaurant. But I mean, that is the history of Huntington Drive, and to sort of honor that history as well as make it really functional and user-friendly, as well as perhaps even brand the city. If we could have some kind of a tram that looks like Mr. Huntington's red car going up and down the drive, I think that would be both elegant and exceedingly practical and of public benefit.
Thank you, Susie. Anyone else want to provide us with comments or feedback about the program? This is a critical component of our project. A lot of it does thrive on your feedback with this project. This won't be the last time we reach out to the residents to ask for feedback on these types of programs. There'll be a lot of opportunities for that, but this will be your first opportunity to get your comments into a document that really helps facilitate this program moving forward. I do see a comment by Khalil on the chat. I crossed, and I'll read it. Let me pull that up. Give me a second. So I crossed Huntington Drive today with my dog. It was awkward with all eyes on us. I would not want to be in the median whatsoever at any time, as there is too much exposure. Perhaps bringing back the farmers market in the median by blocking the left-right turn centers. And those are obviously good comments. We've had a farmers market, as you mentioned, Khalil, and we can certainly begin to have those conversations in this program. Of course, one of the downfalls of the last farmers market was the location, whereas it was a very small location, not exactly amenable to parking, and so that became a problem. But certainly discussing that in the near future could be on our agenda. So thank you for that. Any additional comments about Huntington Drive? Because at this moment, Stephanie and I and the team are looking to take a similar approach as Mission Street, but of course looking at a much broader solutions, because again, Huntington Drive is much different than Mission Street. So again, please don't be shy and let us know what you think about how we should look at approaching the program. Again, you can use your raise hand feature, or you can raise your hand on the video, or you can use a chat. Okay, Krista, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having this tonight. I live very close to the business district, closest to Starbucks, and I walk it often. And some of the, I used to use the district more as a business when there were more businesses there. But now, since the businesses seem to have kind of gone away, the walkability is very difficult. And I was hoping that we could address the tree situation and just the status of the wells. They look very brown and not taken care of. And the condition of the sidewalks. It would be helpful to encourage people to come that way if the sidewalks, I don't know if it's the business community that has to clean the sidewalks or a city, but the sidewalks are difficult to walk on because of the debris. And something to help encourage walkability, I would like to see are businesses that keep their windows open. So some of the businesses I've noticed have nice big plantation shutters, so they can use it to take some of the light out of their offices and control the light. But some of them just use the blinds that are drawn all the way down, and it's very unfriendly, and it doesn't encourage walkability. So it would be nice to see curtains open and windows clean. I know myself and a lot of my neighbors have commented on the windows being clean versus dirty, and that would be nice. Benches, I don't know. I'm specifically speaking in my neighborhood between Tony's and Starbucks. I don't see a lot of need for benches in that area. The restaurants on the patio, sitting on Huntington Drive would be nice. So maybe benches, but for now, I don't see it as a necessity. I would really like to see the trees replaced. Those stash trees, I believe, don't seem to be providing the shade. And I believe they've been there maybe 9 years now. So that's something that was probably my first priority, would be the tree situation. And then moving into the other areas I talked about. I also think it's really nice when the cities have potted plants, either on the lights or the fixtures, or potted around the storefronts. So I'm really glad you guys are addressing Huntington Drive, and I think that there is a lot of potential. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Krista. Appreciate it. Anyone else want to chime in on that? I'm glad you brought in the tree well issue, Krista, because we've been sort of tinkering with the idea of a different approach on tree wells. I mean, the program doesn't really involve touching any of the trees. We'd like to keep the trees there. In fact, we're looking to add more trees, especially on Mission and that program, of course, and on Huntington Drive, possibly look at adding more trees. But on the tree well issue, looking at a system where the tree well is sort of buried further down into the ground and providing a iron, what they call an iron sort of grate on top of the tree well. That way it's a walkable surface and it doesn't impact the tree roots at all. And so that's a possibility, as well as obviously it doesn't also manage the debris that forms in those areas as well. But it's a good point that you made, and we've been looking at that as well as a design alternative for future.
And one more thing, Susie mentioned a tram, and I wasn't thinking about transportation as far as streetscape goes, but I really support that idea, and I think that is would be even getting people to move here. I think that if that had been an option for my kids, I think it would have been an excellent added benefit of living here. So I support that also. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else looking to provide comments about the Huntington Drive program? Okay, if I don't see any comments, I'm just going to go out and do. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we are looking at there are various amounts of steps necessary to get to a sort of a successful program. Certainly bringing in a bus line or bringing in a shuttle or trolley is a very good approach, but we want to bring the businesses in first. That way there's a trolley system to provide that service. And so if we have a number of vacancies, then the trolley system has nowhere to go. And so there are a variety of steps that we want to take. Step one for Huntington Drive is looking to beautify the street some way, somehow, creating opportunities for seating, creating opportunities for safe environments are going to be the first approaches. And then of course, step two, step three, or year two, year three, whatever you want to call it, could very well bring in other types of elements, such as the trolley system, transportation, or what have you. But there's a very distinct initial first step that we need to take to make sure that this program is successful from the beginning. So I want to at least provide that note for you tonight. So
Can
Susie,
we
you have
ask
another comment?
questions?
Sure. Susie had her hand raised. After Susie, Krista, go ahead.
I will share my screen very briefly to see if the images help everyone out.
Susie, go ahead and ask your question or provide a
Okay.
comment.
I'm just commenting on what you just said in terms of priorities and order. And I think beautifying something would be the last step in developing a strong infrastructure for Huntington Drive. Yes, it's important that things be beautiful, but in order to get businesses here, I think you need to prove that we have a functioning, workable transport system and transportation thoroughfare, which Huntington Drive now is, but only for cars. And at the end of the day, I mean, that any kind of tram or trolley would also serve every single school that is along Huntington Drive, which is every one of the 4 schools, and even Stoneman, and kids and parents could use it for that purpose right away.
Thank you, Susie. Krista, you had a question?
No, I'm thinking about the tram again because I can't agree more with her, because the reason we're beautifying, the reason we're enhancing it or revitalizing it is for the residents' use. And that would instantly bring vitality and a function to the people that already live here. So I think it would just be such an excellent draw for the city to have something like that, if that was feasible. And that would bring vitality, which then would help businesses thrive. My question is, what is happening with the businesses on Huntington Drive? Why do we have so many vacancies? What are you hearing back from property owners?
Well, a lot of it has to do with COVID. I know that we're not going to be discussing that specific issue tonight. It could be a variety of different things, but COVID certainly did not help with respect to businesses thriving or surviving in this time. We did do our best with the evictions moratorium or evictions ordinance, but certain landlords had different priorities when it came to the type of businesses that were in town. It was just a matter of being able to survive the crisis, and unfortunately, a lot of them did not. And that's just the unfortunate fact of the matter. But of course, there could have been a lot of other conditions that resulted in some of these businesses not hanging around. Margot, you have a question?
Okay.
Margot, if you
Sorry about that. Thank you guys for doing this. This looks really exciting and something that we should definitely be looking into. I just wondered what your timetable is for any of this and a budget consideration.
Yeah, it's a good question, Margot. And right now the timetable is at least a couple of years. We needed a good year just to program what this level of investment is going to look like. Just to give you a comparison, the Mission Streets Beautification or Streetscape project has taken the full year just to design that program, where we determine costs for projects, we determine a menu for the projects, which ones we can afford to do and not do. Huntington Drive is going to take the same approach, where we take a good part of the year to design what we're looking for, perform similar types of outreach programs to identify the needs of the residents. Other programs will include outreach related that will help us determine whether we're on the right direction with the group and the programming. Budget-wise, right now, the council has provided a $1 million investment type program for this streetscape project. And mind you, that includes mission. So if we're going to split it equally, we're looking at least $500,000 for Huntington Drive to help with the program. And of course, as the years progress in developing this program, we can take a look at how a variety of other different types of projects can be budgeted for, such as the trolley system or some other types of programs.
Well, thank you. Great. That helps.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Mostly comments is what I'm looking for. Okay. I think we got some good feedback. And again, this is not the last time we will be doing this type of programming for Huntington Drive. We will be reaching out a lot more, either staff or a consultant that we look to assist us in this project. We'll be reaching out and looking for additional feedback and comments, but I do appreciate your time, and have a good evening. Dr. Marlowe, do you want to conclude?
I just echo you, Director Cervantes, and thank everybody for coming. Thank you so much to our analyst, Stephanie Britt, for that great presentation, the beautiful PowerPoint, and the incredibly inspiring ideas of where we could be headed. I really appreciate this. This is something that is important for San Marino. Obviously, there was the discussion earlier about lots of vacancies, and part of that is about us demonstrating that we're a little bit more of a business-friendly town than I think we've historically been, and we're working on that, and I really appreciate staff's efforts in the community and coming out and supporting us for that endeavor. So thank you for joining us. Just another reminder, if you want to go take a quick break and maybe grab a quick bite to eat and then come back and watch the Public Safety Commission meeting tonight, please do. Thank you so much to Vice Mayor Jacobowski for being here. Also, I see Councilmember Shepherd Rami. Thank you for showing up and giving us your support. We appreciate that all the time. And that will conclude our items. So thank you so much for tonight, and perhaps we'll see you again. We'll see you again later. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank